Hi everyone, this is Bay Lights with Gary and Charles, and this is episode 7.
Wow, it's amazing. We are so excited to be able to broadcast our podcast, and it's been a lot of fun, Gary.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of it out of this, and I hope our audience will too. Where did we leave off last week? I guess I was complaining about first world problems, all this stuff happening, first in 3s and then in 12s, and well, that's just the way it is. But and then I hear one of my friend's house started on fire, and then another friend had major surgery to correct a surgical mistake and remove a steel plate from his stomach. So anyway, I guess it keeps things in kind of perspective, and really makes you grateful.
Makes me very grateful for all that I've got. I mean, I'm so happy that we're together. It makes a real difference to me. Makes life even more enjoyable. I mean, I love the walks we take. I love the people we communicate with as we go on our walks.
Yeah.
And yeah, good Lord, people every day go through all manner of challenges, and it does indeed provide a perspective on things.
Yeah, and I think if we could find a way to use this podcast to bring people to more of a dialogue and see common ground, that would be great. Like, last week, speaking of going on a walk, we were out to visit one of our charities, and I'm walking out of Muni, and it's raining, and I'm not watching where I'm going, and I slip right in a puddle, and within 2 seconds, strangers came by to try to help me. Of course, I was more embarrassed than anything, and I'm fine, by the way, but people are willing to help, and it's really, it was like a lesson to me. Open up your eyes and see the world could be a very kind place.
Even though our country is going through a lot of turmoil, even though the whole world is going through a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of goodness and decency out there. People who are willing to lend a hand. One of the things that I really gained visiting the different nonprofits that we visited, like Muttville and PRC, and speaking with folks from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, you learn that they have lots of volunteers. There's so many people out there. Most of them have regular jobs, but they always find the time to reach out and help other people. Yeah. And it's such a great thing.
Yeah, we have to try to find the way that we reach common ground and listen to each other.
So we need to learn to listen, and we have to, learning to listen is an act of terrific self-respect. Not only are you respecting the other person, but you're respecting yourself, because you have the confidence, the self-confidence to listen to a different perspective and a different argument or a different point of view. And listening is very important. There's too much posturing out there. Too many people who are virtue signaling, not really being willing to communicate, not being brave enough, I would say, to communicate and to listen to somebody else's point of view.
Yeah, I know we were on a little jaunt today, and I don't know exactly what happened, but we were walking through the Castro neighborhood here in the city, and there was some protesters kind of harassing the car, or someone in a car.
They were chasing after them.
It was really frightening.
Well, actually. They had a megaphone.
Yeah, that's right. They had a megaphone. They were yelling, and so everybody was like looking at this. I mean, what if they dragged this person out of the car and hurt them? It's really shocking how this anger has gotten a hold of a lot of people, and don't they realize? How do we help them realize that this is not a healthy thing for them or the world?
Well, for the country and for the city. People sometimes, listen, there have been times in my life when I've really felt that I was very, very right, and I've had some terrific anger with some other people, and I would imagine that I wasn't always willing to listen to somebody else's point of view or argument. But as one grows older, one begins to realize, it takes all kinds of different points of view. It takes all kinds of different points of view to kind of live in this country, to work together, to cooperate with one another, etc. And it's unfortunate that these fairly young folk were chasing after this car rather than, maybe having a conversation with that person and listening to their point of view and reaching out.
Speaking of which, we went on a march on Sunday. You want to share your experience with that?
Well,
it's a march for unity.
It was a march for unity.
Yeah.
It was against anti-Semitism. We had heard about it at our local temple, Emmanuel, and it sounded intriguing, and it sounded like something that we definitely wanted to participate in. And what made it worthwhile was that it was against anti-Semitism. It wasn't necessarily pro-Israel, though certainly there were those points of view. It wasn't necessarily pro-Netanyahu or anti-Palestinian. It was simply a march against anti-Semitism, and
hate,
and intolerance for different people. So we decided to participate, and we joined this march, and it was an absolutely invigorating event. So it was on Sunday. It wasn't supposed to rain, but it did. But people marched on and were in terrific spirits. There were some pro-Palestinian protesters on the sidelines, but the police were very effective in keeping people separate. And it was, I think, very much a very positive experience. So we marched from the Embarcadero all the way up to Civic Center Plaza, and I think they stated there were almost 10,000 people
over
there.
10,000.
There was a wonderful array of speakers, including Scott Wiener, London Breed, and many other people who spoke, and it was just a terrific experience. A lot of joy, a lot of good spirits, a lot of people standing up against hate, standing up against people being bullied, and so on.
Yeah, and there's certainly quite a lot of bullying going on. Certainly the week before, there was a protest at UC Berkeley, and a very chaotic, disruptive, where they attacked the place where the invited speaker was supposed to give an address, and disrupted that and injured some students. And I think we all need to speak out against this regardless. And I don't know whether they understand that most people are good people and want peace in this world. And the Jewish people, or any people, want the Palestinians to have a fruitful life. So it's not about that. It's about stopping this ideologues and hate going on before it gets bad for all of us.
We can all agree to disagree on different things. So I am not, with respect to Israel, I am not pro-Netanyahu. I think he's carried things too far, and I think he's extreme. And I have a feeling that a lot of Israelis also don't have good feelings with regard to Mr. Netanyahu and his military campaign in Gaza. And I think most people that I know, actually everybody I know, is horrified at the 30,000 or what have you Palestinians who have been left homeless, injured, killed, and so on. I mean, it's terrible. And I do fault Netanyahu and his policies. There's just no doubt about it. But at the same time, I am very much for rooting out Hamas. And also for standing up to Hezbollah. And I'm very concerned about Iran supporting these two groups. And I'm very upset over the fact that so many Israelis were murdered, ruthlessly and brutally murdered and kidnapped.
And sexually
and assaulted. By that event. I think it was October 6th when that happened.
7th.
Yes? October 7th when that happened. So we need a solution to all this. But the only way to have a solution is for us to get together, sit down and talk. We don't need cynical politicians, cynical political leaders who use the people of Palestine.
Well, narcissistic politicians.
Who use the people of Palestine for their own ends.
All right. Well, boy, this is... normally we don't discuss politics per se or heavy topics, but it's been weighing on us, so we would like to hear from you. Constructive comments, please. We do not subscribe to hate in any way, shape, or form. So we would appreciate that. And to find a way where we can have common ground and move forward together and avoid this world just falling apart because we have so much to be thankful for. Do you have any other comments? Sure.
Thank you, folks, for listening. Gary and I absolutely enjoy doing this. This is quite a lot of fun. We're going to be taking a trip to New Orleans and to Neptune Beach, Florida. It's a family visit, and we're really, excuse me, I haven't been to New Orleans in like forever. Gary, when were you last there?
Oh my God, before Katrina, for sure, yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to having adventures
right
on the beach in Florida, in the incredible city of New Orleans.
And we expect to be in touch with you on our podcasts in those locales. Actually, we will be starting some interviews that you may be interested in the not too distant future, including some video here. So stay tuned, and we want to hear from you. Please keep it on the up and civil, and have a good evening, day, wherever you are. Peace on earth.